Hi, welcome to Buzz, Louisville's underground business voice.
What are we doing in Louisville, man?
You know what? We're road warriors together.
Gotta
again.
love it, man.
Yep.
It's fun to get up.
Great kind of month we've got going here in understanding that the challenges of this year and what that this economy has brought us is really forcing a lot of people to evolve their business. Rainmakers is no stranger to that. What's it been doing for you, Dave?
Well, you know, it's been an interesting year, and it's one of those things where I've had to make some decisions for myself and to look at changing some of the ways I did it. And one of the things that Rainmakers has really helped is a focus on leadership. I know we've heard a lot recently about that.
Sure.
But, you know, one of the things that you have to do when times get tough is to step up, make decisions, and just move forward. And you know, hopefully you bring people along with you. You got to make sure you do that, but you got to step up and do. And so we've taken some changes in my world based on, you know, the realities that we saw out there. So instead of kind of acquiring on spilled milk, it's kind of moving forward, and they've been real successful so far. So
Kevin Eikenberry just was at our main event last night. We talked a lot about what leadership means. He calls it a walk. And he says you need to pay attention to the way you're walking. And I tell you, it's been a challenge to really understand this. That when you're in a position of leadership, that your goal is to act first in hopes that other people follow, but to set the example.
Yeah, I really took away from his talk the concept that leadership is a verb as opposed to something that's passive. That means that you have to do it, and we're all leaders. You know, whether we choose to lead or not, people are watching you. People are watching and setting your example, and it's either an example that they want to follow or it's an example they want to run away from. And in these tough times, it's enticing to sit back and wring your hands, but the reality is that there's still opportunity out there, and for those people who are willing to just pull up their shirt sleeves and go after it, there's a great deal of opportunity, and that's what you see a lot in Rainmakers. I think that's a really important thing that we got to all remember.
It's really the core of what got us here. You know, we have the blue line now about how we're going to behave and act when we're at the events. And that we make that decision to be a contributor, to be positive, to make the connections that benefit others. But really, you know, I think it really has reminded me is that, you know, of what is great about what we do and be more, serve more is that you know, it's that acting as if everybody's going to help you, even if they're not really there helping you. Because it's that basic belief in your fellow human being that if shown the proper way long enough, they will jump on board and move that thing forward. And I think that's, you know, it took an act of faith for me to do that the first year we were into this, and then it got a lot easier, you know, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th month, when people were inspired and moved and followed where we were going. And it's easy to fall back in when you've been punched in the nose a few times, fall back into that retreat mode and the guarded mode, and to fall back in your hole a little bit, especially in an economy like this, and forget what got you to where you're at.
Well, and I think, you know, obviously looking at it from the other side as a customer or as a member of Rainmakers, the thing that I've found is that, you know, you've got to come with a bias to action. You can't come in a passive mode. You've got to come being willing to talk about what it is you need. We were talking with Chris Reed last night about getting a tight ask, and that's ASK for the FCC folks out there, but it's making sure you know what to ask for, and then understanding that the real value that you're going to get out of this organization is when you can connect others to where they need to go, because what you will do is create alliances that will pay you back. And my business has grown based on the fact that people come in and say, I heard that you're the guy I need to talk to. And that doesn't happen just by magic.
Doesn't happen overnight.
Doesn't happen passively. And there are times when it doesn't happen at all, and those are the times when I realize, guess what, I haven't been out trying to make that happen for other people. And I think that's the thing that Rainmakers have to understand, that every day you get up, it's about knowing where you need to be and then knowing what you can do to help get others people to where they need to be.
Last night, just to kind of wrap this up, Dave, last night I got an email. It's probably 11 o'clock at night. I had reached out to a couple people that I hadn't seen at events in a while. One gentleman was probably a member for 3 months, and he got a piece of business out of it. The piece of business didn't work well. He was a guy that sold promotions, and what is so telling about the conversation we had is he was really animate about the fact that he hadn't got any connections out of it, even though he'd got business out of it within 3 months, or out of just networking in general within 3 months. And he spent at least 30 minutes articulating and writing an email to tell me why he was no longer a member. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to pull up his attendance report and see how many events he was at. And he was at 3. Okay, so 3 in 3 months, and he had got a piece of business out of it that didn't work, and had quit because of that. And I just said, there's a couple emotions you go through in my role when getting to that. First one you say is like, where did we fail? What's going on? What happened there? The second emotion is like, what is going on with that human being in their world, and understanding that is such a symbol of what is wrong with our society and our business climate and really this economy in general. Everybody is looking for the quick fix. Everybody's looking for their instant gratification. They want it now. They want to have it now. And because of that, they're missing the point. It is invest in other people. It is invest in your business. It is invest in yourself, and see the returns over time. It is not, I'm going to do this and get an instant gratification.
Well, Kevin last night, again, going back to his speech, talked about the difference between leadership and rocket science. Mm-hmm. And the thing with rocket science, while it's very difficult, there's a formula, and if you plug in the right variables, it always works. Mm-hmm. The reality is Rainmakers isn't rocket science. It's all about leadership. Mm-hmm. And you have got to go and engage, and you have got to go every day and engage, or you're not going to be able to get anything out of it. And no matter how much everyone wants to help, if you can't show up and be that good partner, it's not going to be a fit. And so you, instead of giving up on that, come with an action and a bias towards action. Mm-hmm. And I think what you'll find is that the results, at least from my experience, have spoken for themselves. I wouldn't be here 4 years later. I walked in as a new business owner with no idea of how to run a business, how to grow a business, or who my first customer mm-hmm. would be. And I can tell you that without Rainmakers, those 3 things would have never been fulfilled, and I wouldn't be sitting here as a business owner. I'd be working for somebody else, and that might be okay, but that's not where I want to be. And that's what Rainmakers has given me. That's what Rainmakers has given countless number of my friends and the people that I enjoy hanging around. And that's what Rainmakers can give anybody if they walk in the door with that right bias for action.
Rainmakers, to say it one last time, leadership is a verb. If you're not moving, you're going to be left behind.
Absolutely.